what's up, you guys? Welcome to the TechCity Podcast. My name is BellaRose Okojie-Duruji. I'm not alone.
I'm Tega Odia.
So today on the TechCity Podcast, we are talking about something that's super important. It's gone from being something that was a major issue, but was only talked about in hushed tones, to being a buzzword of sorts. And it has now come back, I guess, to bite us in the behind. But as something that is now a major issue for young people, everyone who's got a 9-to-5 job, a startup owner, entrepreneur, every human being now has this, the direction of our podcast today as an important and a pivotal part of their lives that needs to be addressed. And what is it, you may ask? Mental health.
Mental health.
I think it's so interesting, the life cycle of mental health, let's say in the past decade, I believe. You know, back when anyone talked about mental health, it's like, nah, spirits, they do.
Have you prayed today?
I don't know that it was even like, have you prayed today? For some people, it's like, no, mental health. I know anybody that talks about mental health, you know, the person is
psycho.
Yeah. And then it now went back to being like, everyone was like, you know, my mental health is important to me. It's like, hello, what do you mean by that? But now I think the reality of it right now is there is awareness. There is also that place of just being in the know of what people mean when they say mental health. And now it's now become super important to just about everyone, that I don't think there's anything that you do that your mental health does not get impacted or affected somehow, especially even like, you know, in the tech space, which has contributed, I believe, to why it is such a huge topic. Startups have been founded around this issue. We've got a number of them who focus on mental health. And I think that also with the rise of startups in Nigeria, there was the need to focus on that because of the long hours that startup founders will be spending, developers, etc., will be spending in front of their laptops and other issues that they probably did not have time to address before just picking up their laptops and going to work.
Before I say something, let's just take a deep breath. Tech bros, women in tech, take a deep breath. Because I feel this topic, this subject, mental health, should be preached to tech bros and women in tech out there, everybody. Because
I think so too.
It is extremely, extremely important for you to understand that your mental state is, you know, crucial for productivity. You understand? Because we see many tech bros, women in tech, you know, working under pressure because they're scared that, okay, you know, they can be sacked or, you know, if they don't deliver on time, they can be queried and all that. Please, if you fall sick or anything happens to you, have a mental breakdown, look at me. You will be replaced.
Without delay.
Straight up.
My mom would say, this work that you are stressing yourself about, God forbid that anything happens to you, but they know who they will call. Should in case you're not available. But I think that even beyond just tech bros and sisters in tech, right? I think that literally everyone needs to take a deep breath. I say this because you find that right now, the escape, right, that many people have when they are going through something is to get on social media, right? They whip up their smartphones and you go to Instagram or you go to like TikTok or YouTube. You want to watch something funny.
Clubhouse.
You know, is Clubhouse still in existence?
Yeah, it is.
Spaces, I mean, Twitter Spaces has sort of taken over Clubhouse, but then, I mean, it's the same thing now. Clubhouse is the audio.
Yeah.
Am I missing it?
BellaRose. Clubhouse is an app on its own.
Yeah, I know.
They have, you know, interactions about different things. And
it's audio.
It's audio.
So I meant like Twitter Spaces has sort of replaced Clubhouse. I don't know that many people do Clubhouse like before anymore.
They talk about, I think they have so many topics where they talk about, you know, even mental issues, your mental state, relationships, you know, technology, and there are so many, you know, interactive topics out there that are actually very, very helpful.
So Clubhouse. But I was saying, right, people sometimes now go to these platforms to sort of ease stress. But I think that beyond easing stress by going on social media, by getting on Instagram, I think that it's important to address the issue. You know, what exactly is happening? What is going on with your mental health? Before you bring out your phone to say, I want to escape from what I'm dealing with. I think that it needs to be addressed. Someone like me, for instance, right, in 2020, during the NSAS protests, my mental health, I don't know that I've ever experienced that level of stress.
Yeah.
I think in a very long time, maybe when my dad passed on, but see that enters protests. And I think that social media also contributed to it. And it affected me so much because all of that information about what was going on in the protests, how people were being dealt with, all of the realities affected me to the point where I couldn't use Twitter anymore. In fact, I'm still getting
The hang of it.
a hang of Twitter. And I used to be so active on Twitter back then, but like I said, before you now try to figure out an escape, it's important to deal with the issue. So is it work that's the issue, right? For maybe a tech bro, a tech sis, or is it a relationship that's the issue? Is it, whatever is that's the issue? I think it needs to be addressed first before that escape route is sought. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it actually makes sense because the two major, the things you just mentioned, work and relationships, are the major contributors to stress and mental breakdown. You understand? Imagine you being a tech bro, you have deliverables, things to work on. Not even just being a tech bro, you have many things to work on, and you have work stressing you, and you have a relationship stressing you. Like, bro, you just try and relax. Just sometimes you just need to space out from everything. That's very, very important. And I would say companies are actually helping matters right now. We could say that throughout the pandemic brought about the remote work system, and you might think that the remote work system is going to, try and reduce the stress level with you working from home. But the only thing that thing has been able to achieve is reducing your transport costs. Finish. Because companies feel like you are at home, you're doing nothing. Okay. Do everything at once. Yeah. We are used to the whole 9 to 5. When you're done by 5 o'clock, you go home, you rest, you sleep and all that. But since you're at home, please, this is a deadline. I give you a week to finish it, and they will give you so much load. So people need to actually understand that. Wait, let me just say this to my camera. People need to understand that you are not your job. Yeah. You understand? You have a life outside your job. Like we said earlier on, if anything happens to you, you will be replaced.
I think that we also need to give kudos where it's, where it's deserved. A number of companies have also taken the initiative, right, to help their staff when it comes to mental health, right? So I know that back before a lot of startups became as prevalent as they are right now, a lot of people sort of checked the book, peeped into the books of the Googles and I think the Microsofts Amazon as well. Even those ones that had offices in Nigeria. Yeah. So when you went to their offices, you would see that they had spaces for when you are feeling overwhelmed with work. You could just go to a room and go and play a game. Yeah. You could go to a room to just chill and not work until you
pass out,
slump or whatever. Even when you go to the restroom as well, I can never forget Tega. I went to a company's restroom, I don't want to say which, and it's a foreign company, obviously. And I walked in there, it was a restroom for ladies, and just walking in there as a lady made me feel so at ease. On the shelves, right, they were just like everything a lady would need was in that restroom. Oh. And the thing is, women go to the restroom sometimes to just go and breathe. It's like, can I just get away from my laptop for 5 seconds? And just go, and it's like, and I went there and I saw everything a woman would need. So there was tissue, there was sanitary pads, there was paracetamol, there was wipes, everything that'll make you just feel like this was like my room. Yeah. It was so warm, and I liked it because it made me feel like even if you're in an office where there is no space for you to just go and just lie down, or I don't know how to play FIFA, right? And I can't play FIFA to just let off that mental stress. Once I walk into that restroom, I feel like, oh, okay, this was like a familiar space, and I can regroup, give you like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then you can now go back to work. So I think that companies that have done that, and other startups and companies that have sort of tried to create that kind of space for their staff need to be commended, because it's like, okay, you value your staff's mental health to the point where you can make these spaces exist for them to just breathe and not get too stressed out or too overwhelmed if they have to be at work like every day of the week and not work hybrid?
Yeah, I actually believe that some companies, let's use the word agencies for now, because I've seen a lot of agencies having extra activities where they call their employees maybe one Saturday to bond.
Yes.
You understand? Go to the beach or have some sort of like exercise and all that. And the way their offices are actually designed, you just go to one corner and just sit with your laptop, either listen to music. There's no pressure. You understand? That doesn't mean that they don't give too much workload.
So I was going to ask, right? Like, is that 100% effective, or are there aspects of that kind of work culture or setup that can also affect productivity? Because for some people it's like, I'm in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So are there cons to it?
The thing is that many companies actually have, like I said, they've adopted that kind of like space to make their employees feel comfortable. A happy employee is a productive employee.
Yeah.
You understand? But, and again, I would make mention that many HR departments, officers, managers do not actually believe in that, because they still call their staff to the office. I know you're not doing anything
Shots
at
fired.
all. So the thing is that the disadvantage too is that some people do not know the limits. You understand? When you get too comfortable, you just, because you're working from home or you see one space, you just go and sit down and just sleep off. When you have a lot to work on, you understand? I think people need to also, in as much as the company is giving you that space to actually relax, you need to also respect the fact that you have, your part to deliver. You understand? You need to be able to still deliver at the end of the day, like I just said. So yeah, there's still some cons to, this, work culture about, having their employees relaxed and all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
balance is important, I think.
Extremely
and we have talked
important.
about rest. We've talked about making sure that there's a place where you can go to breathe if you are getting a bit overwhelmed, and that's if you are going to be at work physically, say Monday to Friday. It's important. I think that taking your break is important. I don't know that there's any company that does not give you break. I don't know. Maybe if there is, you need to go and speak to HR and be like, please, I need my 1 hour of break. And if there's anything I know about even companies, particularly outside these shores, it is that break time. They observe it because, again, they pay them on an hourly basis, and that may not be the case for some companies in Nigeria. But I think it's important. If you are going to say, lunchtime is 2 p.m. or lunchtime is 12 p.m., go for your break. Like, go and eat food. I don't know why there may also be a culture of sufferhead, where it's like, no, if you are resting small like this, you are lazy. No, please, it's important to actually take those breaks to either rest or eat food, and eat proper food, not chips and drink.
There's some companies that are a total red flag, because when you get interviewed and the first thing they'll ask you is,
can you work under pressure?
Can you work under pressure? Now,
why are we under pressure, please? Is there anything happening?
They need to understand that the fact that they ask you, the work under pressure can be explained as, you have some things to work on. It's not going well for you. Can you, knowing that, okay, you have a deadline, can you still calm? Can you find a way to stay calm, relaxed, and be able to,
it could even be, can you work in an agile business environment?
Do you understand?
Where like changes are happening every time,
That's
iterating along the way.
Instead of what Nigerian companies mean is that, can I give you, there's even one company that I worked with for a while. I will not mention her name because I'm not going to pass any shade right now. And they were like, they have certain number of people working on so many tasks, and they wanted me to do like 10 roles. I'm not kidding.
And they're employing just one person for 10 roles.
You're not even increasing my salary or anything. It's just, Jesus Christ. I literally typed my resignation letter straight up, because it is crazy out there that people feel like your employees are your slaves, or, people that you can just use anyhow.
Or like you're doing them a favor by employing them. It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
What we're talking about right now, I have a friend that told me that her boyfriend applied to this foreign company. Now the first red flag was that the interview was through WhatsApp. And I said, bro, just leave.
WhatsApp.
But interesting. So the woman asked the guy, what's your salary expectations? And the guy was like, okay, can you pay 600,000? I don't even know why he charged them in naira, because it's a foreign company. Well, he said 600, 700,000 naira as a UI and UX designer. And the woman was like, okay, can I pay you $250 per month? And the guy was like, sorry, did I hear you clearly? Was that for a week or per hour or something? And she kept on shouting that nobody will pay you $1,000 per month. Please, what do you take us for? I blame Nigerian companies for that, because, and another thing she mentioned was that he was going to be working a lot. You understand, Monday to Saturday.
No, I would already zone out. Like
$240.
Can't deal with that.
And I think there was a trend going on lately, yesterday, about interview questions.
Yes, and when you realize that you did not get the job, it was hilarious.
And there was this guy that made mention of, he went for this interview and they asked him, what are your salary expectations? And he made mention that in his previous company, there was something like a gym membership, and the legal department shouted, Jesus.
Gym membership.
And he told them what his salary expectation was, and everybody started laughing. I said, we'll get back to you.
Of course, they will never get back to him.
It ended like
just
that.
so you can't give him the gym membership. Why are you laughing at him? That's not fair. We are judging you people.
I do not understand. And it's becoming something else.
But I think that, it's important for young people to not forget that for some of the people who they are dealing with, right, in the workspace, some of these guys don't share their realities.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you tell a potential employer what your expectations are, whether with regards to salary or perks or, company culture, they just imagine as if you are not tired of staying at home. When you stay at home for some years because of unemployment, then you'll come around. But I think and that's the place of just learning and unlearning for everyone, right? Both employee and employer. And with regards to also just making sure that your mental health is optimal, I think that learning, whether it's with regards to what you're doing on the job or just like attitudinal stuff, I think it's also important when you are learning of the environment that you're in, you're learning of the people that you're working with. I think it goes a very long way in making your work life easy, because if you are constantly at loggerheads with whether your colleagues or your bosses or your HR, for instance, you are going to be in a toxic environment because it's always going to be combative, where you're not going to work to go and collaborate, but you're going to work to just go and just do my thing, just they go. It's just vex every time. Yeah. So you're learning of the people that you're working with, learning of how you can just be better around them and be a better staff, I think, and also reduce the stress on your mental health, where you're not going to work every day and are thinking of how to navigate, a tough environment. I also think that spending time with friends and family goes a very long way. I don't know that many people pay attention to that. For some people, it is a seasonal thing to spend time with friends and families. Like it's Easter, or Christmas, New Year.
Or when they call family meeting, all those times, it comes to family meeting.
But I think that you may want to do it a bit more frequently, right? Maybe, I don't know, again, that would, I guess, depend on your relationship with your family, but I think you need to have a support system that you can always go to when you are stressed at work. It also helps your mental health. Imagine that you go to work Monday to Friday and like you said, maybe like you're so overworked, and then you get home and there's nobody to offload to just say, if you see what they gave me today. Or
even your partner is not even helping matters at all.
You mentioned relationships as one of the two pillars of what affects people's mental health. For some people, because they are the ones that are dealing with all of this information, you don't have anyone to tell. You can't tell a friend, you can't tell a family member, maybe a mom or a dad or a sibling or someone. It's just only you. You are the warehouse of all your information. I think it can also create a lot of stress on your mental health because there's no outlets, there's no place that you are, giving that information out of or out from. English is hard.
Speaking of that, the money you're acquiring, because I believe tech pros, and women in tech are actually big
Ballers.
boys, ballers. They are not mechanics. Even mechanics have plenty money, but
Well,
but the money you're getting, I think it will actually help to get a therapist that you could actually talk to, because many Africans feel like having a therapist means that it's extreme, that something is going on with you mentally. But no, that's not the case. Having someone to talk to without being like the person being judgmental, all that.
But again, therapy is expensive, in Nigeria. I've heard a few people who have used therapy services, and they're like, it's great, it's awesome, it's really great, but it's expensive. I know a friend of mine, this is even like a personal friend of mine, who was going through something really difficult, and she just needed a therapist to talk to. And she did go for therapy. And she said, listen, she went for I think 3 sessions or so, and she couldn't keep up because she couldn't pay the money. But she said, for the couple of sessions that she went for, they proved very productive, but she couldn't continue because she couldn't afford it.
Yeah, me too. I tried talking to one, but the price, I just said, Baba God,
Father Lord, can I talk to you?
You're always by my side.
Right.
And I believe there's an application that a friend recommended.
Okay.
I can't really remember the name of the application.
If we say it, we'll link it in the description.
Link. They actually make the therapists to be affordable. Their rates, accessibility to a therapist would be affordable for people that cannot afford to pay such crazy amounts of money. So
hashtag therapy is good.
Therapy is good. It's helpful. It helps a lot.
Also, I think that it's important to sleep well. Many people in tech, and in fact outside of tech, do not get enough sleep. And the truth of the matter is, it's a weird cycle, because it is actually tech, in a sense, that makes us not sleep well. Let me explain. You get home from work, maybe you're stuck in traffic, and maybe you finally get home, right? Let's say you get home like, say 9-10 p.m. Let's be fair.
Jesus.
It's early, Abby.
It's late though.
That's what time people get home now. If you leave the office at 4-5, Lagos traffic. That's why I said let's even give it 10. Let's try to be 9 o'clock or 9. You get home 9 p.m.
Allow me that you felt that was actually early.
I mean, well, my brother, the experience I have, it will take us 2 days to talk about it. But so let's say you get home 9 p.m., right? And then you get home and then you see, oh, there's this new film on Netflix. Yeah. Or there's this new web series on YouTube. FOMO.
You're not even helping.
Everybody's talking about it. Like, if you watch it, you're gonna love it. You now start feeling like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen it. I'm missing out. Why? And then you now go and watch it. You don't sleep until 3 a.m. or 2. And you have to wake up at 4:30. You're doing yourself.
Killing yourself, bro.
No, but on the serious, I think it's important to actually sleep well. Also, this generation has romanticized sleep as something for the lazy, where it's like, do you know how much your mate in the US is making? You are sleeping. That's lazy. At this time, you are still sleeping. At this time.
I see that post almost every Monday. I am working. Your mates are working. I are still sleeping. I don't understand.
Please, sleep. Oh, it gets why. Sleep.
I actually believe 8 hours of rest should be, okay for somebody that.
And don't feel guilty when you feel sleepy or when you are sleeping and maybe it's like 7 a.m. and you haven't woken up. Don't feel guilty about it, except it's affecting like your productivity in other areas. If it is not directly affecting it, you should get some more hours in, because it actually helps you to stay alert. It helps your brain. It helps you to be more agile when you are working and when you have stuff to do, and not make you almost like a mummy all day. So I think, please,
that's why there's need for work balance.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Please, sleep well. Also, try to explore other hobbies aside working. This is a no-brainer. I think.
Yeah. Very important.
Please, I have another ego. When you don't stress me, I will go and do my not BellaRose.
Yeah.
But I think it's important.
No. You can check our TikTok videos.
And that's not what this episode is about. Well, innocent. But I mean, exploring other hobbies, I think it's very important. Yeah. Ricardo Banks said he was going to try being a chef sometime.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a singer, but he says he wants to try cooking. I know people who are into many different things, artists who do other things, artists who paint, tech bros who write. There's a friend of mine who used to be a tech bro, still is a tech bro, and he just takes joy in writing stories. just writing stuff. And that's because it doesn't feel like his work as a tech bro will afford him the opportunity of being like a published writer or anything like that. So it's like, you know what, in my spare time, I will write what I want to write and I will share on platforms. And I think, you could also do that just to let go of all that mental stress. Doing something that maybe makes you happy, makes you fulfilled in a different sense, I think also works.
There's actually a group chat that I'm in, and every end of the month we plan that, okay, we're going to the beach, we're going to this house, we come together, we contribute, and we have fun. We have this house party, just to detox ourselves from the whole stress. You understand? It's actually very, very important for you to take time to take care of yourself.
True.
You understand? Even your bosses. I saw a video on LinkedIn today. Tony Lumelu, he made mention of work balance. He was saying that many of his friends asked him, how do you take time to like travel out, attend functions and still work really, really hard. And he was like, work balance is very, very important. You understand? He takes his time to exercise. He was just advising people that, okay, for you to be productive, this is what you need to do to have a good mental
it doesn't have to be so elaborate, right? Maybe like your friend was asking for gym membership. You may not necessarily have that, but you could like take runs. You could go on like long brisk walks, for instance. If you want to get some exercise in, you could do like cardio at home. Some of these little things, I think they go a very long way. Maybe you need to just pamper yourself a bit. Go to the spa and just get that. Or tell yourself, see, I work for this money. Today, I'm going to go and buy Chinese for only myself. Or only me. I will eat one whole carton of pizza. And ice cream. I'm joking. Is it carton? Box. A whole box of pizza. But I think that you work for it. So like it's important that you take time out. Or maybe you want to just stay at home for the weekend and not reply to any emails. Shut off your email. Mark Essien one time was sharing about how he does not respond to emails earlier than, I think he said Monday or something like that. He said, like, don't stress me.
Yeah. Like there's some bosses that tend to call you before 7 o'clock or by 7 o'clock before you resume or on your way home. Like, please, wait, you two, don't you have... Are you not going to rest or something? You're not even the owner of the company, and yet you're stressing a fellow worker. Like, it doesn't make sense. So please take time. Going to the spa, I would recommend that. Right. You understand? Sometimes
if you don't even like spa, you could do other things. You could do other things.
You understand?
You take a warm hot bath at home and stay in the shower for as long as you can.
My body is here, my mind is not here.
I can imagine, but like it works. To be honest, it really works, and it helps your mental health. It really does help your mental health. Now I know there could be somebody who's watching and is thinking, Bella and Tega, wow, you guys, go on, talk about it. It's easy for people to say it. Say it. You have responsibilities, you've got deadlines and all of these things. But I think that what's important here is try to start setting those boundaries. It may not happen immediately. You may tell your boss that, sir, please don't send me email later than Friday. Yeah. And they will say, you must have a different job somewhere to be speaking like that.
My former office, they were always suspecting, like Saturdays, Sundays, I do not pick calls. And they were like, it's like, you have a job
elsewhere. Listen, it's about setting those boundaries, right? When they send you an email today and they say, oh, respond ASAP, respectfully, I apologize, I need to take some time off for the weekend. And, just be very courteous in your speech and in your communication, right? I think it will help them receive the message softer as opposed to just ghosting or saying, I don't work on weekends. Yeah. Mode of communication goes a very long way in helping that information reach who it is meant to in the best way, and of course giving you the desired results.
Speaking of exercise, I'm not a medical expert, but I can talk from experience that please, as you're working really, really hard, check your blood pressure. It's very, very important, because the thing about blood pressure is that you might not actually feel anything. Sure. There's literally no symptoms, and you just be working extremely hard. You might think it's just stress, but you're killing yourself, because you can just hear stories about somebody that just slump and die. You might think it's a spiritual attack. No, it's not a spiritual attack. A person's blood pressure just spiked down, things like that. So as you're working hard, also check your blood pressure and relax exercise, sleep well, eat well.
Drink water,
drink
please. Drop all
lots
those
of
fizzy
water.
drinks and all those other ones.
I'm not going to mention anything right now. But
But then speaking of blood pressure, right? There's a mobile blood pressure thing that some brands sell. We can't give out the names. We're not being paid for it. But look out for them. They don't cost too much. If you're earning an amount of money and you want to invest in your health, for instance, you could buy it. And at different times, randomly at home or at work, you can just check your blood pressure and see those numbers. Knowing your numbers, I think, is very important. I was reading and I saw some post recently that said, "Oh, Nigerians, we have a gene that makes us naturally happy." And I get it. You may be feeling happy and very hype, but then inside may not be that great. So just check, just to be sure that, okay, as I feel on the outside, that's just how my insides are. So I think, that's super important. Any other tips?
Eating well, like I've said, taking supplements.
Yeah.
When I say eating well, please, I'm not just talking about eating pizza, like boxes of pizza, like all the time. I'm not, no shade.
Okay.
But eat vegetables because they are very, very important.
And fruits.
Even me that I'm talking, I hardly eat vegetables, but I know I'm actually really trying because I know that my health, not just my normal health, my mental health is actually very, very important because there's some, vegetables that also help,
brain development
and all. So it's actually very, very important. Then when we talked about finding hobbies,
doing other things,
playing games. On Saturday, you
just
might
don't be
feel
addicted.
Don't you can try. I'm just joking. Don't be addicted because if they say anything at your place of work, don't say Tega advised you to do something.
But Tega at TechCity said I could. No, please.
No, please. Disclaimer, I did not
say
anything like that. Try hard to, maybe on Saturdays, go to places where you can play basketball. I'm not saying you need to be a professional NBA pro, but just, do something to make your heart pump faster or more than, because sitting down for 8 hours, 7 hours is not going to do you any good. You might think that working really hard makes you feel very efficient. Yes, it can, but at the same time, it will reduce your level of thinking and productivity.
Absolutely.
Your brain will to function well when it's not under pressure. You understand? So that's just my
You could also try not to eat too late because, of course, as you sit down on your work, you don't know when time just goes, right? So as much as possible, you could set alarms, right? You could do an alarm for like drinking water. I know somebody who does that. She does it for eating and for praying. So it's like, okay, every hour I must drink water, or like every other hour I must take something, right? So if you put an alarm and say, I don't want to eat later than 7 p.m., I think you can work towards it. So even if you're at the office, you can order for food early enough. Speaking of which, I need to order for food. So that you can eat before you leave the office. When you get home, you already have eaten and you could just go to bed. And I know that for some people, they say stuff like, oh, it's not possible, Bella. There's no way I can do without eating late. What I can suggest in that instance is, if you absolutely must eat late, right, don't go to bed immediately, right? Yeah. When you have eaten, maybe say 10 p.m. or whatever, just still, jog around the house, do a little bit of movement cardio before you sleep. It doesn't have to, cardio now can make them feel like, hey, you people. It's okay. Just do some movement around the house after you eat. Don't go to bed immediately after you eat. All right. And what I also sort of practice is, sometimes if I'm feeling really hungry at night and I'm like, I just need to eat something, but it's so late, I tell myself, you know what? I can have this for breakfast tomorrow. So
please, when BellaRose is talking about eating, please, we're not talking about eating akpu, satana, around 10 o'clock.
No, with like rice, spaghetti.
Something light, something that at least would digest quick.
Yeah.
You understand? Not the one you get to the office tomorrow morning and you'll be sleeping.
See what happened to you?
I don't understand.
Bella says you eat at night. So
I don't understand.
I had some lies.
Your DMs will be flooded.
And right now I cannot make it on my legs. Let's be guided.
Yeah,
but we hope that with these few points of ours, we have been able to share with you why it is important to take care of your mental health, and even giving you practical steps on how to take care of your mental health. And we hope that you apply this to your life and that you feel better all around. If you have any other tips that you want to share, maybe tips that have worked for you personally, please leave them in the comments below so that we can all learn and just be healthier together.
Yeah.
Till we come again next time on the TechCity Podcast, I am BellaRose Okojie-Duruji.
And Tega Odia. Peace.